Hey, what's going on, guys? It's DK, back at you with another video here. It's predicting the 5-game CSGO main slate on Thursday. We're also going to be talking about the 2-game Oceanic Division that starts actually tonight at 9:30, and then the Asian Division as well. It's in the middle of the night, about 1 a.m. Central. So I'm going to have breakdowns for both of those slates as well. The Oceanic slate locks in about 2 hours, so if you guys are early to this video, you can get that breakdown. The Asian breakdown, again, that will be in the middle of the night, and then obviously the main slate starting at 8 a.m. Central. So I'm going to break down all of those slates. Before we get into it, though, what we can do is we can look back at my lineup here from Wednesday's slate. So Wednesday, I feel pretty good about the breakdown. I was on pace to take down this tournament, the $33 tournament. The one letdown, surprisingly, was Zywoo. It was NS that just took it to him. Vitality could not hang with them. No one else besides Zywoo could really do anything per usual on that team. So yeah, he was the 1-1 letdown. It's a little bit tilting for sure because I finished 14th. No one above him had Zywoo. First place was 5-12. 5-12. You got to think Zywoo just has a decent game. I probably win this tournament, so a little bit tilted there. Still came up top though, $80. Not going to complain. JW, I brought him up as being my favorite cheap captain spot. He went off there for 123 fantasy points in the captain spot. Hopefully you get some of you guys captained him as well. I mentioned the Stars and Scrubs build, right, because I really wanted to get Zywoo. I really want to get simple. I really want to get Jame in there. Simple, over 100 fantasy points. Jame had 90 fantasy points. An insane 41 and 13 KD. They just absolutely demolished. I brought up that, both teams should 2-0. Both teams did 2-0. So if you want value plays like guys, the two guys I want, Boomage, Adrian, we're fine for the prices, right? I was hoping for the 2-0 sweep. I got the 2-0 sweep. Flamey was the one guy who really went off for his price. I actually played him the other day, didn't today. So that little kick myself for that. I think he had like over 90 at like 5.2K. So if you played him, you're probably in amazing shape. But yeah, like I said, I feel pretty good about the breakdown. Hope you guys won some money as well. JW as the captain spot did really well. The one letdown for me was surprisingly Zywoo, but everyone else was really solid and was a cashing day. And then for the Showdown Slate as well, had a really, really good day. I went a little bit contrarian and left about over 2,000 on the table just because you could basically get whoever you wanted. So I wanted to go a little bit contrarian. I went MOTM in the captain spot instead of OC. Now my original lineup was Floppy, OC in the captain spot, then MOTM and Calyx. But I figured, this is a big tournament. I want to get contrarian. First place was that lineup. But I want to get a little bit contrarian. So I finished second place, or I guess tied for 49th. With Floppy, MOTM in the captain spot, OC, and Calyx. But that's what I mentioned, right? I like the C9 in these Showdown slates. I like doing the 3-1 stack and going with the team I think is going to win. I want the 3 stack of C9. All three of those guys I mentioned on the Showdown slate were Floppy, MOTM, OC. All three were the best 3 players on Cloud9. And the Calyx, I ran it back with him. He was my favorite player on the Envy side, and he was, again, in the winning lineup. So we had actually 2 viewers already DM me, say that they took down the Showdown slate. So yeah, hopefully you guys made some good money as well. I think it was a really, really good day today. And let's see if we can keep it going for the slates. For Thursday, again, the Oceanic slate, I guess, is still technically Wednesday night. But let's do it. All right, so first let's go to this 2-game slate. We actually have some decent-sized contests. And actually, I'm going to reserve my entry here right now in this Oceanic one. I don't want to miss that. This one's almost full. So I'm going to go ahead, give me 1 second here. I'm going to reserve my spot. Okay. All right, let's talk about this one. So in the Oceanic Division, I did watch a little bit of this last night. Again, I'm not super familiar with these teams, but the Renegades in this 4-man league or division, I guess I should say, the Oceanic Division. Renegades are clearly the best team in my opinion, and we've seen it in the Vegas numbers. They were huge favorites last night. They won 2-0. They're huge favorites again tonight. I assume they're going to 2-0. So my strategy here is going to probably do a 3-man stack of Renegades. So on this Renegade side, and I will be definitely avoiding ground 0. I don't think the upset's going to happen. On the Renegade side, we can take a look at their players and their prices. So they only have 1 game on here. So if players are just looking at fantasy points per game, they might get a little bit skewed, right? So INS had Sicko had the best day. But let's take a look at their KDs and rating 2.0. So Dexter 1.09, rating 2.0, Malta 1.06, Sicko 1.08, INS 1.15. He's got the highest on hats at 0.92. Probably will be avoiding him. But these other 4 guys I think are certainly in play. I'm probably going to play 3 of these 4. As far as captains, right? So I'm just thinking about this from an ownership perspective, right? So Dexter had the one letdown game last night, and he was actually the ultimate chalk. He was like 80% owned in that big tournament. So I think that's going to lower his ownership. He's, if we're just looking at numbers, right, he has just as much upside, I think, as any of these 4 guys. And I think, again, that's going to lower his ownership if people are just looking at that last game. So probably going to be the way that I go is throw Dexter in the captain spot. Again, I'm probably going to try to get at least 2 of the 3 of INS, Malta, and Sicko in there as well. And then let's talk about the other game really quick here. So it's Order versus Chiefs Esports. Order minus 345 favorites. First I guess we'll talk about the Chiefs Esports side. Honestly, these are more contrarian placement. Let's go to the flex. Apusadud would be the only guy I would look to as a one-off if you want to do like a 3-2-1 stack, and the one-off with someone you think is going to lose. He would be the guy I would look to. He has a lot of upside here. He has the highest rating 2.0 clearly here. Where is he? He's 1.12, 0.72 kills per round, 0.65 deaths per round. So he'd be the one-off I would look to, but I'm probably going to be going with a Renegades and Order stack here. On the Order side, Ali Star is their main slayer. I like him a lot here. Again, they played against Renegades, who didn't have an amazing day, but 38 and 33 still went positive, even though they got 2-0'd. If we're just looking at him, his numbers right of 1.2 rating 2.0, 0.76 kills per round, 0.6 deaths per round. So I honestly might even throw him in the captain spot. It's probably him or Dexter for me. I do like the price a good amount on him. I will probably be going there. And then the other players, right, if we're just looking at their rating 2.0s, they're all above 1. Valiance, I guess, is the next highest. He's the next highest price at 8K. Wouldn't mind getting to Ustillo or Ricky there for a little bit less, though. That's probably going to be the way I go about this Oceanic slate is stack the Renegade side and with a 3-man stack, and probably a 3-man stack in the Order side as well. Maybe I'll do a one-off with a Apusadud, but that's about it. So that's going to be the way that I go about this one. Let's talk about the Asian region real quick, and then we can get in the main slate. So this one's 1 a.m. Central, so this one will be, I will probably not be awake for this one. All right, so again, let's take a look at some Vegas odds here. So we have Beyond versus Lucid and Tiger versus VC Gaming. VC Gaming are the best team in my opinion on this in this Asian division. Again, we saw it with the Vegas odds last night. Again, we're going to see it with the Vegas odds for tonight's slate. They're minus 800 favorites. So first, let's go to the VC Gaming side. This is again a team I'll probably want to stack. I have their stats up again at hltv.org. Very, very helpful for all stats for Counter-Strike Go. You can scroll through their players and their rating 2.0s as well as their KDs. They have some high rating 2.0s, right? 1.24 for Jam Young. K's 1.27. I'm not going to pronounce his name, but 1.21. Right, so these are guys I'm definitely looking to. If we're talking about their prices, right? K's is the most expensive, 9.2K. And then Jam Young, again, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Amin, Advent. I'm probably going to get these 3 players, at least 3, or I guess I shouldn't say at least 3. You can only play at most 3, but I am going to do a 3-man stack here of VC Gaming with probably K's and Jam Young, and then maybe one of those value guys is going to be the way that I look about it. On the Tiger side, I'll be avoiding. If you want to get risky and play players from that side, you can. Again, not going to be the way that I go. And then the Beyond versus Lucid Dream game. I think this game should stay close. Again, Vegas thinks it does as well. You can scroll through the numbers here. We have Lucid are minus 215 favorites. So if we go to Lucid side first, right, and we look at their rating 2.0s, they also have some pretty high ones. The highest right here is Jinx at 1.2. What's his price? He is the highest priced guy at 8.8K, right? So Draftkings did a pretty good job pricing these guys for their performances, for their stats. We have CBBK at 1.18, rating 2.0, and he's at 7.6K. So I think I probably would prefer him to Jinx. If we're just looking at other players in this team, right? PTC is up there at 1.15, as well as Lakia at 1.11. They're at 6.8K and 6K respectively. So I like those placer values. Again, that's probably be the way that I go as a 3-man. A 3-man VC Gaming stack, and probably Lucid Dreaming, but I think Beyond are in play too. Let's talk about the Beyond side really quick. Again, if we're just looking at their salaries here, QQ God is at an insane 1.27 rating, 2.0. So yeah, I guess I shouldn't say I'm going to do the Lucid Dream stack as well, because I'm not exactly sure. I haven't really messed around with the roster construction too much on this Asian division slate. But QQ God is a guy that has huge upside here. 0.81 kills per round, 0.65 deaths per round. So I like him a good amount if you want more of a contrarian captain spot. I think people are going to look at the Vegas odds and maybe avoid this team. I don't think that's necessarily right. I think you definitely can consider these guys. QQ God, again, I think he has huge upside, and you're getting him at a discount. We're talking about other players on this team that I'm looking at. Olivia at 1.23. Rating 2.0, he's at 7.2K. So I like that QQ God Olivia pairing. And then if we're looking at for a value option, right, probably would be KNTZ at 6.6K. But this is a team that their salaries are a little bit cheaper, so it's a little bit easier to fit in these guys. So yeah, I'll probably be going with the VC stack and then a 3-man VC stack, and then probably a 3-man stack of either Lucid or Beyond. So that's the way I'm going to go about the Oceanic as well as the Asian ESL Road to Rio slates. Again, guys, if you're not super familiar with these teams, you can look at these stats, you can look at their prices, and kind of go from there. So now we can talk about the main slate here. I'm excited for this one. We got 5 games. We'll talk about the main slate, and then I'll actually talk about the Showdown Slate at 3 p.m. as well, and then I will get out of here. So let's do it. $12 entry, 10K to first tournament for tomorrow. We have another good slate here. I'm excited about this one. Let's take a look at the Vegas odds here for the main slate. So we have Team Spirit versus Enigma Gaming. Team Spirit minus 345 favorites. Winstrike versus Gambit Youngsters. This one's almost a pick 'em. Winstrike slight favorites there at minus 150. Fours versus Team Unique. Fours minus 2,000 favorites. I'll talk about some players there, but I do like a good amount there, obviously for safety. G2 as well against Contact. Contact will be a team I will be completely avoiding. I like a lot on the G2 side as well. We'll talk about them in a bit. And then North versus Movistar Riders. North slight favorites are at minus 170. So first, let's talk about Gambit Youngsters versus Winstrike. All right. So again, this one is projected to be a close one. Winstrike slight favorites, but I don't think you have to avoid the Gambit Youngsters. And Shiro is a guy that he is priced up, but he has enormous upside. He is the guy that, if Gambit Youngsters is going to win this game, we could see 100-plus points from him. We've seen it almost 3 times already. If we're just looking at the games that Draftkings has up, right? 109 there, 96, 97. This guy has enormous upside, and he's shown it, right? So he's someone I'm, maybe goes a little bit overlooked on this slate. But love his upside there if you can get to him. If you want to pair him with another player, right? I think a guy like Supra at 5.8K looks pretty decent for his price. And yeah, I think this game and the Movistar North game maybe goes a bit overlooked on the slate because these games are projected to stay close. But you could see some upside games here, and there are some appealing price tags. These are more contrarian plays. I'll talk about the cash game build. These are more contrarian options. But again, Shiro has enormous upside. You're going to have to pay a premium for him. But if they do pull off the win, you could see over 100 fantasy points from him. So I'm definitely considering him as well. Again, a cheap option. I think Supra would be my next favorite play there. On the Winstrike side, again, prices are pretty appealing in this game. Highest price guy, 8.4K. Ellen, or I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, Elon. He's the guy that has the most upside here on the Winstrike team, and he's only 8.4K. There are slight favorites here. I think he's a pretty solid play. For looking at other plays there, I think Hobbit next at 7.6K. Again, you could pair those two together. I think they go a little bit forgotten about in this slate. So that's where I would be looking at in the first game, would probably be Ellen and Hobbit on the Winstrike side. Let's move on now to the next game here. We have Fours versus Team Unique. Fours are huge favorites here at minus 2,000. So this is where I'll be going for cash games for sure if you just look for safety. Yeah, Team Unique will be a team I will be completely avoiding. Have no interest there. I like a good amount here on the Fours side. You have XSE Power at the top at 9.6K. I don't know if I want to pay 9.6K for him. I don't know if it's worth it in a game that they should 2-0. So I think I like the value here a lot more. Guys like Facecrack, guys like Jerry, Almizer, right? Flit. I think those are guys I would look to Honestly, probably the three cheapest here would be my favorite. 6.2K for Jerry, Face Crack at 7.2K, Allmiser at 7.4K. Right, if you project the 2-0, which Vegas numbers, it kind of looks like it's gonna be a 2-0. They're the biggest favorites of the day by far, minus 2,000. That 2-0 bonus will get you the 20 plus fantasy points. Right, I talked about it with Navi. I talked about it with VP in the last slate. Right, those value options, why they're in play is because if they get that 2-0, those really cheap guys already get 20 plus points to their score. So these three guys at the bottom there especially are probably where I'm going to look, and I like them for value a lot. I think they're really safe plays. So yeah, I'll probably get, honestly, at least probably two of these value options into my lineup here. Next game we have, where are we at? It's Team Spirit versus Enigma Gaming. So let's go to Team Spirit here. Talk about their prices, right? So Chopper's at the top at 9.2K. He's been a little bit up and down if you're just looking at fantasy points, but I think that's, it kind of skews it because of these tough matchups against Astralis and Vitality, Ninjas and Pajamas. Obviously, they got 2-0 there. And a little bit easier matchup series, had much better performance, 86 and 82, 72 fantasy points. So this is a guy that, sure, we know the upsides here. I think he goes maybe a little bit overlooked in the slate, but it's definitely viable. Some Die Young at 6.8K. I think he looks like a pretty appealing play as well. It doesn't have as much upside, obviously, as Chopper there, but I like the price tag if you want to go with the Spirit side. I think these guys, and maybe a little bit overlooked, but they're definitely viable here. And again, they are pretty decent favorites here at minus 345. So I think those guys are certainly in play. On the Negma Gaming side, it's honestly probably a team I will avoid. I know they're not huge dogs, but I just don't think I want to risk it on this slate. Speed 4K would probably be the guy for just looking at his price, but again, I don't think I'm going to go that direction for this main slate. Next game here, we have Contact Gaming versus G2. The Contact Gaming, another team I will be completely avoiding. I think G2 take this in 2-0 fashion, so Contact's a team I will not be going to. Esperanto would be the one guy I would slightly consider if you're going super contrarian, but not going to be the way that I look on this one. On the G2 side, this is where I like a lot here. So I really like buying low on guys. That's just been my mentality for DFS for as long as I can remember. So Kenny S had the huge game there against Mouse Esports. Put up 90 fantasy points, was 74 and 48. Had a great game. But his price jumped up from 7.6K to 9K. I think that last big game is going to raise his ownership, right? We saw it with Zaiwu, and he was kind of let down today for me. So I will definitely be buying low, going right back to the wall on Hunter. I know he's kind of let me down the last couple of slates. Only 39 there against Mouse Esports. But I love the price here at under 8K in a game they should 2-0. I still believe Hunter. I think he has the most upside in this team, and you're getting him at a big discount off there of Kenny S. So I love Hunter at that price. He's probably my favorite play of the day. I also like Nexa a good amount too at 8K. He's just too cheap as well in a game they should win pretty easily. So those two guys are probably my preferred plays. Kenny S, their Opper. Again, we know the upside's there. I think the ownership will be inflated. For that reason, personally, I'm probably going to look to the guys right below him with Nexa and Hunter. But that's just me. If you want to ride the hot streak with Kenny S, it's perfectly fine. I just think his ownership will be a little bit inflated. I will take the lower owned guys, or I don't know if they should be, if I should say lower owned, but I just like the prices better on Hunter and Nexa. And then even the value options with Jax and Armanac. I think these guys are certainly in play as well. Jax at 7K, Armanac at 6.4K. These guys kind of at the bottom of the roster still have some upside, right? We've seen some big games from Jax here. He can get you 60, 70 fantasy points. Same thing with Armanac. So these are two value options for, if we're just, again, looking for value. I think they look pretty good. And for a cash game setting, you could easily run like a G2, a G2-4 stack and look pretty good there. So last game here we have Movistar Riders versus North. This is a game, again, I think goes maybe a little bit overlooked, but there is definitely some upside in this game as well. Alex is the guy I'm looking to for sure at 8.6K. He has the most upside in this team by far. in a losing effort there to Copenhagen Flames. They got 2-0. It still put up 46 and 39, 68 fantasy points. Yeah, he's their main slayer. Everyone else on this team has a negative KD. So Alex is a guy that I do like a good amount. The only other guy I would consider here is probably Steele at 6.8K if you want to pair him with Alex. But yeah, that would be the way I would look to. I do like Alex a good amount. I think he's more contrarian, but definitely in play. And then on the north side, it's kind of the same thing. AZ is a guy that I just think goes a little bit lower owned. He had a huge day there. Yesterday he put up over 100 fantasy points, 108, and he was really, really low owned in that game. I think he was like 7% owned in the $33 tournament. So yeah, again, another situation where these guys in the maybe not so well known teams, I just think go a little bit overlooked, but they certainly have upside. AZ, Alex. If we're just looking at ownership, right, I think those guys again maybe go under 10% owned. So these are guys are definitely looking to as more contrarian options. I still don't even mind Gade here at 5.4K. I think pairing him with AZ is not a bad way to go if you want to go that north route, right? Sure, obviously he doesn't have huge upside, but the price tag is very, very appealing. If we're just looking at the last 4 games, right, 63, 49, 43, 24 in the game they got 2-0, but still, I think he's doable for that price tag. So again, the guys I think go a little bit lower owned are these, probably the guys in the games that should stay close, right? So the Gambit youngster side, right, Shiro. Actually, I don't know if he's going to be that low on because he has enormous upside, but him, Allen and Hobbit may go a little bit lower owned. On the Movistar Rider side, I think Alex, and the north side, AZ, right? So those guys I think just go a little bit lower on in the slate, but they still have upside. So if we're talking about captains and we're talking about safety, right? So for me, it's definitely going to be these two teams here with 4s and G2. That's where I'm looking to for safety. There's a lot to like. Basically, there's not a whole lot of downside to say, or not contact G2, about either of these rosters. We're just talking about a cash game setting. I think you can make a 3-3 stack here if you're just looking for safety, right? I think that's if I was playing just a cash game, right? If I was playing a 50-50, I would probably do a 3-man stack of G2 and a 3-man stack of 4s. So yeah, that's where I look to for safety, right? I kind of hinted who I was going to play at captain on the last slate, which was JW. Today, it's most likely going to be Hunter for me. At that price point at 7.8K, that's just way too cheap in my opinion. So I would probably be going Hunter in my captain spot if you want to, follow suit there. And all right, so that basically finishes the breakdown of the main slate. Finally, we'll talk about the Showdown Slate. We'll see if we can keep it going. Again, a lot of viewers won the Envy C9 one. I was super, super close. Want to go a little bit contrarian. Let me get to the right slate here. So we have Team Liquid versus 100 Thieves. This one, again, should be fun to watch. You have to play 4 players and 2 as captains. So again, if I'm going to recommend the 3-1 stack. That's normally the stack that wins the Showdown Slates. Again, you can only do a 2-2 or 3-1, but I would just prefer 3-1. 2-2 stacks are very, very rare, but I guess they can happen if the game stays close and goes to the end, like 3 maps. But I would probably be going a 3-1 stack. We're just looking at the Vegas odds here for Team Liquid versus 100 Thieves. Where are we at here? Did I just pass that? So Team Liquid are slight favorites here, minus 200. As far as who I'm going to target, I'm probably going to go with the Team Liquid stack. I think they do take this one, so that's probably the way that I go. If we're talking about flex salaries, a Liege is at 11.4K, but I think he's worth it at that price. He has the most upside by far in this team. Naf is a guy I think was maybe a little bit overlooked on this slate because he's been struggling recently, but he's shown to have the second most upside on this team, and again, I think it lowers his ownership a little bit. Twist and Stewie 2K are fine as well. I don't even mind Nitro there at the bottom at 6.8K. If you want to go the Liquid stack and get a Liege in there, you might take a shot at Nitro, but I think he's certainly viable. On the 100 Thieves side, who I'm looking to go as the one-off is probably JKS for me for that price. If you want to go the 100 Thieves stack, it probably would be Gratisfaction, JKS, and one of those value options. But for me, I'm going to go most likely the 3-man Team Liquid stack with a Liege in there, and then I'll probably run it back with JKS. So that's the way I'm going to go about that Showdown Slate. We'll see if we can keep it going for that one. But yeah, I think that is going to do it for today's video, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content so far, we'd really appreciate it if you could like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. We are at 3.15 thousand subscribers, so slowly growing. I'm going to continue to grind out these videos for you guys. How Call of Duty Slate is on Friday. Might have that video up later tonight, if not tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that as well. But yeah, like I said, the easiest way to support me right now, guys, is to hit that like button, and yeah, that's about it. So thanks again for everyone coming to check the video. Really do appreciate it, and I will see you guys all in the next one.